Good afternoon to everyone. I know everyone is very excited to ask questions to Anurag and Sudhir. But before you shoot off your questions, I would request Anurag to speak about the film.
I prefer that everybody watches the film. Candy is a very personal thriller. It's a thriller, but it's also a personal film. And it's the central character I stole from Sudhir Mishra. From 20 years ago, I was supposed to write a script for him, which we were working on. That film that did not take off, but the character stayed with me. So Sudhir used to tell me stories of this certain police officer as an example when we were writing the script, and that stayed with me. और वो कैरेक्टर से मैं इतना ऑब्सेस था, मैंने बहुत बार ट्राई किया how to make a film on this character in what circumstances, and then in the lockdown presented me with a circumstance that I could put the character from Sudhir's story in that circumstance and create a fictional film around it. So that's what Kennedy is. It has a lot of poetry and Western classical and an amazing central performance from Raul Bhatt. And it's brilliant. The full choreography between my production designer, my costume designer and my cameraman. It's like they're dancing together and the final film comes out. Ranjan Singh is my producer, and my other two producers, Kabir Ahuja, is not here, and Z Studios, Sharif Patel, who's not here, who's from Kolkata. Sharif Patel is also from Kolkata. And the film would not have happened without them. So here I am, and I hope everybody likes it.
Thank you so much, Anurag. Welcome to Kolkata International Film Festival. You will find an amazing audience here. When it starts, and I just took everything apart and reconstructed it in your own way. You have this thing about, it was in all the earlier versions, it was a very lyrical, tragical love story. But you actually reconstructed many of the things. So you have this thing about, juxtaposing contradictory things. And
I would rather not make the film.
Thank you. How is Sudhir connected to this film?
Because I stole the character from Sudhir.
I'm not connected. I mean, इसको प्यार से को प्यार ही रहने दो ना, कोई नाम मत दो. मतलब this is I know him from he was born in Bombay, so I mean we're all connected. And I've said in Calcutta, I've said this, that when I saw Dev D, that I'm inspired by him. So it's not. I mean, after 3-5 films, we are all the same. So it's not. He is the most inspiring young man in the city. So every time I get despondent and think I should run away, I look at him and it's inspiring. So maybe that's our job. You kind of work off each other, no?
He's the OG. Gen Z language, he's the OG. He's the original. There's a lot of things I've learned from him.
I mean, we are from someone. We all teach each other tricks.
No, he's just being very humble. We have all learned a lot from him in the sense. Sudhir has never made a film without having his disciples sit around and bounce off the idea and improvise on it. The film बनने से पहले हम लोग, I don't know how many times I've sat down in the sittings of Hazaaron Khwahish Hai or films after that. I've been, when he was shooting, इस रात की सुबह नहीं तो वहाँ पे भी घूमने टहलते चले जाते थे हम लोग. So Sudhir has always been there, and he's very inclusive in his process. So there's a lot that one has learned from him over the years, and he's still inclusive. So that inclusiveness is what we feed off.
I mean, now I narrate my next film I'm going to make. I narrate it to him, and he said, "Don't shoot it till you don't finish the climax." So I didn't shoot it. I mean, you listen to each other in a sense because there's nobody else. I mean, it's like a family, no? Who else can you listen to? Then otherwise you are listening to marketing ideas only.
Yeah. So, tell us about Devji. What inspired you to make this?
What is actually Devdas? I've read a lot of Sarat Chandra, and I always found Devdas to be his weakest novel.
Yes.
It is his weakest novel, and made the most number of times. And by chance I came across a version of his story of his life spent in Bangladesh. And then I realized where Devdas came from. It was a fictionalized teenage version of the life that he lived in Bangladesh. So I went to the source. I did not go to Devdas, I went to the source. I researched his time spent as a teenager there, and then I compared that to the time we were living in when we made that film. So I found parallels, because there's no point telling the same story that has been told so many times. People remember, so it allowed me to jump in time. It allowed me to jump in time. It allowed me to play with what was set in stone. I don't have to explain who Chandramukhi is, who Paro is, who Devdas is. It's a given. People understand. What I can do beyond that is what I was trying to do, and mostly, if book was never the source material for me. Source material, Vikram Motwani wrote the first draft. He used the book as a source material because he also worked on Devdas and Bansali Meher. And then I took it and I played with it, and I went to what I found about his life as a teenager.
Yeah. No, the best thing about Devdi, and I'm sure about actually all your films, is that in Devdi all the characters they were not plastic characters. They were real characters. They had real feelings. They had real hunger for sex, for relationships. They were not some ethereal, abstract, unreal.
Casting Sayame here in Choked, everybody said, "Have you seen Mirza?" I said, "Don't need to see Mirza. I've seen the person. I know she is going to be my character." Same thing with Tapsi Manmarji. Everybody said कि उसकी पुरानी फिल्म देखी. मैंने कहा, why do I need to judge somebody on the basis of what they've done for other directors? I met the person, I spoke about the character of the person, and I feel that this person is the person. I go by my instinct, and that's why I work with actors also who give me that kind of time and have given me that kind of a trust and have that hunger to do something like that. तो already satisfied आदमी के साथ काम करने में मजा नहीं आता.
Anurag ji.
No, no, please.
Hello, Anurag ji, it's a pleasure to have you here. My question is, you have spoken a lot about the animal controversy, but you have also mentioned that you don't want to work with those stars. What's the reason behind such thing?
Those stars means?
Like Ranbir Kapoor or Ashwin?
No, I don't want to work with people who have fan base, strong fan base. Why? Because then you have to cater to the expectations of the fan base. I don't want to cater to anybody's expectations. I want to make my film. And when you work with a big star, you have to cater to the expectation that comes with a big star. When the budget goes up, everything goes up, things go out of your hand, you're not creative anymore. Then you are like controlled by the budget, you're controlled by the studios, you don't get to make your film. I've had that experience in the past. I don't want to repeat it.
Anurag ji.
Do you care about the box office at all over the years?
I care about my producer recovering his money. उसके बाद I don't care about it. As long as my producer has recovered his money, I know I'll make my next film.
Anurag ji, first of all, we are happy to have you here. Okay, please, please. All through your life, you have insulated yourself from all sorts of mediocrity. But when you see that mediocrity actually rules, and what is your survival strategy, and what is the survival strategy of all directors who are doing alternate films or art house films or like that? Because things are becoming very tough nowadays.
See,
And I'm Shormila from Shormila Show House.
I don't have any strategy for other people.
No. For you, yourself.
For me, myself, it's just, every time I'm in a circumstance, I just look at people who are in worse situation than I am. And I feel I'm better. I'm in a better place. Because it's like, you look at countries that are oppressed. Who are, like, I see Iranian filmmakers. I see Zafar Panahi still making a film and able to make a film and doesn't give up and sells it out. And I'm like, I live in a country that makes 1,000 films a year and they're so obsessed with cinema. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate that I make a film every year. other people and I'm like, you know, I have nothing to complain about. I just know my restrictions. If I stick to a certain budget, I'll have my freedom. If I go beyond that, I start losing my freedom. And then it's a conscious choice of how much degree of freedom am I willing to lose and how much I'm in control. So is it my film or is it going to become the studio film?
What is